I wanted to have a quick look at the signs that you are getting better, because sometimes when we are ill and we start to get better, we actually don't always notice. And you know, that's the same for any illness. You know, sometimes when we're feeling ill, it can be so bad. When we start to get better, our brain just wants to forget how we were feeling. But it's actually quite important, certainly with a chronic disease such as chronic fatigue syndrome, that you do actually recognise when you'll start feeling better, because it can help to improve our well-being, to see where you've improved, to look back and say, well, actually, 6 months ago, I couldn't do that. So obviously I'm getting better, and you may not have noticed. So I want to just go over some of the signs that you're feeling better, so that you can look back and say, actually, yes, I've improved. And this will really help with your well-being, and actually it will also speed up your further recovery as well, because the minute you start recognizing that you're actually getting better, then your brain realizes, well, I can do it. This is happening. I can actually get better. And that will further improve your ability to recover. So one of the things, first of all, and it's one of the things I recognised very, very strongly when I started to get better, was when I started waking up in the morning feeling refreshed. Now, for probably several years after my first diagnosis, I can remember waking up every morning feeling as though I might as well not have had any sleep at all, or feeling that I'd been sort of out on the town all night, or feeling that you're hungover all the time, even though you haven't had a drop. So that was really one of the worst, for me, certainly one of the worst symptoms of chronic fatigue syndrome, is waking up, facing another day and feeling, you know, without having had any refreshing sleep. So when I first woke up and felt refreshed, it was a pure joy, joyous feeling. So that's one of the signs that you're getting better, is getting refreshing sleep. So other signs that you may be getting better is notice when certain problems in life you're dealing with better. Because when you have really bad chronic fatigue, when your symptoms are quite severe, the problems that happen in life are so much worse, because it feels so difficult to deal with them. Now, start to notice now that when problems and events happen that you have to deal with, that you're just finding it a little easier to deal with them. And obviously one of the other ways that you might notice that you're getting better is when you suddenly realise that you're actually doing a bit more activity than you were before, without it causing the worsening of symptoms. And this may be a gradual process, and of course with gradual processes it's not always easy to recognise that it's happening. So have a think back to say, a few months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, even 5 years ago, what were you doing then, or what couldn't you do then that you are doing now, without it causing the worsening of symptoms? So that's a real strong sign that you are actually improving. And another thing is, of course, when we are really, really ill and feeling awful, is we're constantly focusing on ourselves and the way we're feeling. And it's very, very difficult to think about other people. So when we start to recover, we then might start thinking about other people and being able to help other people more. Of course, you need to be a little bit, beware in this situation that you're not, overly helping people at the expense of making sure that you're okay too. So, you know, you must always keep that number one priority, always look after yourself first. But when you're able then to also look after other people, that's a really good sign. Another really good sign that you're getting better is when you find it easier being with other people. I can remember how difficult it was to go to an event and try and talk to other people when I was feeling at my worst. It's so hard and it's exhausting, and then you feel even worse the next day. So when you find suddenly that you're more enjoying being with other people, you're able to talk to other people more, that's another sign that you're getting better. Another sign is when you have, yes, we all do, when we have a setback, when we crash a bit, and suddenly we're sort of feeling more fatigued and maybe have a bit of fibromyalgia, etc. And then you recover more quickly from that. That is another sign that your general recovery is getting better. Because in the early days of my chronic fatigue, I would crash, go into a really, really bad, really severe symptoms. And that would last for several days or even weeks. And then as I started to recover, I noticed that when I did have a setback, it actually started to get better within a few days. And then, you know, after time, it would get better after a day or two. So that's a really, really positive sign if you have a crash, that it actually starts to recover better. And it's a sign that you're learning also how to deal with crashes, and that's a really, really good thing. And also, you might find if you have a cold or flu that you're recovering from those earlier because your immune system has improved. Because when we have chronic fatigue, often if we get a cold, it can take ages for to recover. So if you notice quick recovery times, that's a really good sign. And if you're planning ahead, you know, if you're starting to think about things you could do in the future, planning your career, planning holidays, etc., that's another good sign, because when you're feeling really awful, it's very difficult to even think about doing things in the future. So that's a really good sign. So finding all these bits of evidence that you are improving will help to perpetuate that continuing to improve. So make sure that you are looking back and looking at where you are now to where you were, 3-6 months ago, a year ago, etc. And take heart from your improvements, which will prove that you can continue to improve and recover. I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.